Boom, we are pre-recorded today, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful Thursday morning on February the 28th. We're going to be diving in and taking a look at some of the top crypto coins. Obviously, Bitcoin, the most important in our fundamental assertion of our asset grouping here. We're going to take a look at Ethereum and Litecoin. Recently, Fetch.ai was added to Binance and it fell quite quickly. Sometimes when things hit Binance, they will either rocket or they will drop almost instantaneously. So with that in mind, let's just go for it and dive right into the content for today. So I wanted to start off by taking a look at stockcharts.com. We were reading over the ascending triangle as a continuation pattern. We had mentioned this in our last videos as it was a small ascending triangle. I do want to note that even though an ascending triangle is a bullish pattern that basically is indicating an accumulation period, it is a continuation pattern of that trend. So if we scroll down here, we can see number one, the trend. In order to qualify as a continuation pattern, an established trend should exist. Right now, the established trend that exists is currently a bear market trend. Although on a much shorter term, we do have a slight bull market rally as we have tested the $4,200 area multiple times. So as we roll over to Bitcoin here, we see that on the daily, we might actually be forming an ascending triangle after a very long bearish period. Now, this is important here because even though we have been in a bearish trend for quite some time, we are not in a bullish trend, which is usually what you want to see for the continuation ascending triangle pattern. It will be interesting to watch these take place. As we have seen in smaller trends, these essential ascending triangles do make slight higher bursts, although this massive line of resistance around the $4,200 area is extremely important, and I think fundamentally one of the strongest areas for us to try to break out through. As we break out through this area at one point in the future, it will be one heck of an exciting day. Although again, currently I do still believe, and I will stand by this assertion probably for quite some, or until we at least get much closer, this volume fill gap that we've been creating here is almost as big as the $6,000 mark, which we had run over for almost a 6 or 7 month period. So the fact that we are around 3.5 months into filling this volume profile area, my next big area of support is between $1,000 and $3,300. I do suspect that we want to fill this entire volume gap before we climb out of here. And I made this assertion yesterday when you look at Ripple. Not a token I like in any way, shape, or form, but what I do like about the chart on Ripple here is the volume profile fill. Let's see, is this the Ripple we were using? No, let's go to Ripple USD. Much longer data. See how on the right hand side here you see this very nice kind of scaled up volume profile fill. This is what I would like to see on Bitcoin, and what I suspect will happen over the next few months as we fall down in price is we will fill this volume profile all the way down to $1,000. That way, as we leave that area, again, it will work as the ladder or the staircase for our price momentum to drive us significantly higher. Again, early assertions put us anywhere from $30,000 to $80,000 on the next move. I am not in any way bullish at the moment, but I will keep that part of my sentiments close at hand because I have been excited about this space for many years. Again, if we zoom in on the 15-minute chart on Bitcoin here, we can start to see that the prevailing pattern, I have to zoom in quite a bit here, it looks like is there we go. We broke this trend that we were following here. We jumped up, hit the $4,200 line. We barely spent 2 days up there before dropping back down below that previous trend line. Again, we're seeing another hard trend line form here. Again, we may see another slight bounce up to test that $4,200 area. Again, the lower part of that triangle is sitting down around the $3,400 mark. So with that in mind, I do suspect we will probably test this little ascending triangle that we have built over the last few days. Somewhere around the $3,500 mark is our next bounce point, it looks like. And again, if you roll out to the one-day chart, that ascending triangle looks a little more profound. Again, this is normally a continuation pattern, so I don't like to draw this here because we are in a bear market. I am starting to see a trend form here, so I will keep my eye on it. Again, for those of you that were interested We will take a look at a few of the tokens tomorrow, Tron, Neo, and a few of the other ones that you guys had kept asking about. I think it's important that we do that. But for now, let's take a look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum looks like it has a potential for a little bit more momentum, maybe up to the $150 mark. Again, this strong line of resistance here that we had around 160, we have not broken out past yet. And again, you could almost see that we are forming another ascending triangle here on Ethereum. But this is the case. When we go to Gecko and we take a look at all of our major crypto coins, all whatever tokens you would like to call them, doesn't really matter. I don't really care. We do know what you're talking about. So please remember to be supportive of everyone, because the slang terminology will inevitably what takes over. Whatever people want to call them is what will blend in. And guess what? The techies, you don't get a say in this. The general public gets to choose. Now, for this one, as we can see on the right-hand side here, you have almost identical movements in every single token, and I would suspect that this happens because the entire market sentiment changes in lockstep. We have seen this almost the entire year. Bitcoin moves, everything else moves with it, and even though they are relative in their price fluctuations, as you can see, Bitcoin Cash down 11%, Stellar down 8%, etc., Cardano 9%, they fluctuate almost in lockstep in relationship to Bitcoin's price movement. So back to the charts here, we'll take one little quick look at Litecoin, again forming a very, very similar pattern to what we had seen, although Litecoin does deviate from the norm in this particular idea. All these red lines, I was just charting some very, very heavy support and resistance lines. We'll take those out. I don't suspect that we're going to break them. And I am looking for the $20 and potentially even $9 mark on Litecoin in the coming months as Bitcoin's price likely breaks down. And my assertion for why that breaks down, if you're new to the bear family, is because the global market sentiments as a whole are starting to shake, and that's everything from housing to employment to car sales to loans to the S&P 500 and the Dow. Now, a lot of this is going to come down to the next most important factor in this, and I believe actually the most important factor in Bitcoin's price itself is actually the DXY, or the dollar index. We have stated before, as we roll out to the monthly chart on the DXY here, that we suspect that one of two major things is going to happen. Either A, the dollar is going to gain strength and go higher up to around the 97 to 100 point mark, bringing the stock market down with it, or what would be even better for Bitcoin's price movement, if the dollar were to start falling and the stock market prices were to continue to rise based off that falling dollar sentiment. Now, neither of these have showed a strong direction, but we have not yet crossed over any of the exponential moving averages on the US dollar DXY chart since 2015. I do suspect once we hit this top here, again, likely one more time around the 98 point mark, somewhere right around here, this will be a very, very interesting line of contention. As you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines of touch right near this area. This is going to become, I think, increasingly more important. This is where I believe most of Bitcoin's price movement and ideas will come from. Bitcoin is meant as a replacement for the dollar, not as a replacement for the stock market. If the dollar's value is seen as sentimentally strong, Bitcoin's value will likely be viewed as weak, whereas a declining stock market would basically rally the dollar as everyone looks for somewhere comfortable to run. We have made that assertion many times, and we do suspect that it will continue to be that way. Those are the top tokens for the day. I did have one little bit of news I wanted to take a look at, mostly because this little Jim Carrey picture from Cointelegraph caught me. I always like their stupid little cartoons. They always get me with that. I should probably produce cartoons for my little thumbnails. If any of you guys do thumbnail cartoons, send me an email. I'd love some help. But anyways, that's a total side topic. What I did like about this is Square reported $166 million in annual Bitcoin revenue from 2018. Again, this is Square, the company which Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, owns, had just achieved $52 million in Bitcoin sales for Q4, surpassing Q3 by 9 million and Q2 by more than 15 million. Again, growing and showing continual growth in their company is extremely important. Clear profit for the Bitcoin operators, which involve Square's consumer app Cash, remain low as purchasing costs account for the vast majority of the revenue. Nonetheless, what I think is important here is if you read the quote, it says, for the year ahead, we continue to focus on these three things, adding strength in person-to-person payments, mobile payments to online, and we are also very excited about doing anything in the financial service area. As Dorsey confirmed to the Stefan Livera podcast earlier this month, the Lightning Network brings the fees to almost near zero, and instantaneous transactions will soon appear within the Square Cash app. Quoted from Jack Dorsey again here one more time, says, I think there's a lot more we can do in terms of making a Bitcoin more transactional, making it simple enough that I could just justify buying a cup of coffee in the morning. And that might be the case with all the growth and development in this space. One of the most important factors is finding not just the store value, but the transactional use case. It's what Roger Ver tried to argue so stupidly, misunderstanding that if you don't have a store value simply transactional, that accounts for nothing because you could just use socks. A sock could be considered transactional. Why isn't that as valuable? Well, there's a hugely important part in the underlying infrastructure of Bitcoin's price, and that, in my opinion, is the long-regarded history of the blockchain itself. All of those recorded transactions that have ever been made still exist there, and they will continue to do just that. This is Steel with the Arcane Bear. Thank you all for joining us so much. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you happen to be in the world. Give us a thumbs up, 2019 style. Smash that subscribe button. Remember to hit the little bell. That way, anytime we produce a video, you guys will be notified. And leave your comments, your thoughts down below. Join our Telegram channel. Check out our website. All that fun, ridiculous social stuff that I'm sure you guys love doing. I hope to see you in the jungle if you happen to be down here dancing for the Envision Festival. This is T with the Arcane Bear. Deeply grateful and thankful for all of the friends and sentiments that I have made from this community. Bear family, I love you so much. I'm signing off for the rest of the afternoon. We'll see you guys on the other side.